Welcome back to another episode of the Boat Babe podcast with your favorite boat babe, Mary Allison. Today we're going to be talking about life afloat and is it for you? Are you actually ready to take the plunge to this minimalist vacation life on a boat, or are you still trying to plant yourself in the soil thinking, I don't know if this is for me. I need to do more research. I don't exactly know what boat I want. Like, I'm curious about where you're at. For years, I was mentally all in, but I didn't feel like financially I was able to take the leap. And for me, it actually took a life catastrophic financial event for me to be able to afford my boat. I actually had to sell my condo. And in turn, I had money to live my dream. And, if anybody else, if I actually would have gone to a lot of my friends about this, most likely they would be supportive. If I were to have gone to my family, they already knew, of course, like, I want to live on a boat. Yes. Like, I'm this free spirit hippie sailor, totally all in. But most people think it's crazy. They don't see the benefit. You can ask anyone. Buying a boat is a lot of times people just joke about it being a money pit. But I hope you're seeing a lot of the trends these days. People are also talking about how house ownership is also a money pit. So it's like, pick your pit. I would rather put money into my boat and be waking up looking at paradise on the water every day, meeting new people in my, soul. The community is like to my soul. Like, the sailing community is like, I'm with my people when I'm around other boaters and other sailors. If you are a farmer or you love living off the grid in the woods, or you absolutely love your neighborhood life and you love the idea of owning your home, dumping money into your house, go for it. That's totally for you. So it's like, which one do you want to choose? Today I want to touch on also the minimalism of what it looks like to live off the grid. Moving what you use on a daily basis in a house to a boat is really not easy to do unless you have a really big boat with lots of space and lots of storage and maybe some extra help here and there. But what I'm talking about is like, what matters to you and what do you need and what do you use on a daily basis? Kind of going down to the basics of who you are, clothing wise, shoes, personal belongings, stuff, trinkets, stuff that's like books, stuff that you put out on your desk. Like, what do you want to take with you when you're moving onto a boat? And does it work for that new lifestyle? Or are you like, no, I can't give up my recliner. I can't give up my huge TV. I can't give up X, Y, and Z. Like, I love the fact that my kitchen's huge, et cetera, et cetera. But for me, I work better in a smaller kitchen because it's so easy. It's just like everything's within arm's reach. So to start out, there are options. Life does not necessarily have to be black and white. You don't have to sell everything, move on a boat. Like, a lot of times you see that on Instagram or YouTube where everybody's like, I sold everything and I moved onto that boat and I live this awesome lifestyle and I haven't been back to the States but once, every year. You don't have to be that person, to be considered a sailor, to be known in the sailing community. I wanted that. I wanted black and white. I didn't want to own a home. I didn't want to have roots. I really, really, really like the idea of, if it doesn't fit on my boat, then we don't buy it kind of thing. But unfortunately, like, for me at the time, that wasn't reality. So I have the luxury of, having two houses right now and three vehicles and three boats, not including like extended family stuff. So, I had to learn, okay, I'm not just going to get rid of this house The interest rate is incredible because we bought it before COVID. And the payment each month is not worth giving up. I mean, this house is a great rental property. It is worth storing stuff here. It's better than having a storage unit. I have a wagon out in the one of the trailers with my hurricane lines that I have prepped and I keep available all year because inevitably we'll have a couple of hurricanes come through here during the hurricane season. I have extra anchors here. I have just extra stuff, that I probably would just have to have a storage unit for. It's nice to just have it here at the house. If we do have hurricanes, this is a great place to be. We're not going to get flooded. It's not directly on the water. So, keeping a house might be the best option for you if it works financially. But I also had to learn that I can be really involved in the sailing community and also say, yeah, we have a house, because a lot of times people, they don't really want to hear that. When you meet new people and you're out on your boat, they want to know that you only have that boat. They want to know you homeschool your kids. They want to know that you don't have anything else because it sounds cool. But sometimes I just have to bite the bullet and be like, yes, but we also have a house up the road. We've got a house. I'm staying in the house tonight because whatever reason. Right now, all my curtains, my isinglass are taking up the entire forward view berth. I'm in the middle of varnishing, and compound and waxing the brow. So I'm down a bedroom right now. It's not practical. So we'll be there soon, but right now we're just living the luxury life of having this house while the boat's been out at Barber. I also was the sailor that was like, I can't own a microwave. And I've talked about this before, but it's if I'm just a true sailor and a diehard living on the water, I can't have a microwave. Sailors don't have microwaves. And I have to also stay on my boat through every hardcore storm. And what I've learned is, I do have a microwave. I hadn't had a microwave for about 5.5 years. And my dad happened to have an extra small microwave that fits in my microwave slot on my boat. And so I put it there. I'm like, whatever. Sometimes it's nice to heat up certain things, but I'm still in the habit of using my flat top or using my stove, which I'm replacing. But so the microwave does come in handy right now. But yeah, having some luxuries and staying away from my boat during huge storms doesn't make me less of a sailor and a boater in this community. Okay, yes. Back to the whole sell everything and sail off to the islands and never come back. You can keep your home. There's options. Buy a less expensive boat. It's a lot easier to save a little bit of money versus $500,000 for that dream boat, Hausberg Rassi that's brand new, that's gorgeous, that's made to go around the world, but you might not actually know if you really like the lifestyle. So don't invest every penny into the best boat you can find, because in the long run, you might not even commit to sailing. You might get terribly seasick. You might hate the noises that a boat offers. You might not like the maintenance. And so keeping your home might be a really good option to start off with. The second option is rent your home out and buy a less expensive boat and have passive income. That's probably right now the smartest thing, especially if you have such a low interest rate. If your home is older, rent out your house, save money for a year or two, or just really buckle down on finances and buy a really awesome boat. A boat that's in my boat's price range. What I suggest, and this is just a side note, but when you're looking for a boat, keep an eye out for boats that are above your price range, because most likely you're going to be able to do a low ball offer if you fall in love with the boat, and the owners will appreciate your love for the boat versus getting butthurt about your low ball offer. That's been my experience, and that's been a lot of experiences for that I've seen from other people. And the third, this is the next option, sell your home and buy an awesome higher end boat. I do know people that have sold everything and they bought a boat and they've loved it. Like, it is really hard to jump into sailing and then not like it after a while. Like, for the most part, you're going to be greeted with open arms from every other boater or sailor out there, and you're probably not going to want to turn back. And if you do, it's most likely you just were going along with what your partner said and you were just testing the waters, and then it just didn't work out for you. And really, in the long run and the short run, honestly, all three of these experiences will be the same with or without your really expensive boat. So for me, my boat, I paid $67,000 for it. And I used to live on a 137-foot Newcastle that was $11 million and then sold for $17.5 million. And I can tell you that the experiences were so similar. Like, yeah, on True North, I got to look over all the boats. We got to be looked at. We were radioed all the time by people saying how beautiful the boat was. I got to have dive equipment readily available right then. Multiple jet skis, sailboats, on board. We had a dive dinghy. There was a hot tub, a yoga room, meditation room. Like, we got to live the life of luxury, but the memories that I have are exactly the same as the memories that I have on my boat. It's watching the sunsets. It's being with your significant other or your best friend and sharing the experiences of floating down the river in Belize, buying a beer for a couple bucks and not asking for your change back on the side of the road and watching the person start to cry because that might be the only sail they have of the day. Those are the experiences that I remember to this day that, I don't know, it's like there are gorgeous boats out there. If you can afford, and it is in your budget, for a badass, Ocean Alexander, or like I said, a Hausberg Rassy, go for it. Jump all in. Like, you are so blessed to be able to have such an awesome vessel to call your home. But if you're like me and you desperately needed a home and you happen to have some cash, go buy what you can afford, because I promise your stories and your experiences are going to be equally or better than somebody with a different kind of boat. Your problems will be different. Your problems will probably be cheaper, but y'all are still going to be sharing the same anchorage, watching the same sunset, drinking the same drinks, and eating from the same local vendors, and you're going to be having the same experiences. And so don't get caught up in the price of the boat. Look at the amenities. Look at how it works for you. There are so many awesome options out there, and a lot of older boats that just, like, I can't imagine selling my boat and getting a newer one, because I know the flaws of the newer ones, Yeah, I know the flaws of the older ones, but I'm down for the older flaws, because I've got a really thick fiberglass hull. If I have a hiccup and I hit the ground, I'm not going to sink. But I've seen way too many newer high-end boats with those super thin hulls, and they sink in minutes, because of the way they're built. So anyway, that I could go down a rabbit hole and talk about for hours. But back to being on True North, we pulled into, close to Georgetown in the Bahamas. And we pulled into this anchorage. And people were just like applauding that we had an American flag on such a large vessel, because usually they're internationally flagged, for tax purposes. And so they loved seeing an American flag, big yacht. But I remember looking down at those sailboats, and I said I'd give anything to be on that boat right there. I'd give anything to own one of those and to be sitting in that anchorage with those people. And, I'm so grateful now because I can say that. I'm on a dock. I'm not at an anchorage right now. I'm super spoiled. I pay little to nothing for rent for where we are. I just happen to be at the right place at the right time and led by the right spirit guides to be where I'm at. So, I'm super lucky, super blessed. I have an awesome boat. But man, I mean, it's just that feeling of being in that community that struck me, and it stayed with me forever. I would, even if I won the lottery tomorrow, I wouldn't sell my boat. I'd probably just accumulate a dozen of them. But moving on, are you okay in a really small space? And I'm just going to tell you right now, yeah, you'll be completely fine. The benefit of a smaller space, at least for me and what I've learned, it's so much easier to clean. I spend such little time cleaning that I don't really even think about it. And really, the difference between a house and a boat is the dust accumulates in a boat a lot faster than a house. And but like, it's so easy to clean. Like, you just get your Swiffer, the Swiffer, or like the handheld Swiffer. And it's just easy to just dust it all up really fast. And then opening up the windows and letting in that fresh breeze is just, oh my gosh, it's the best in the mornings. Just letting in that crisp, cool air in the mornings. I have in my bathroom right above my sink is a little porthole window. And I open that every morning and I feel that fresh breeze on my face. And it's just like, you can't beat that feeling of just the sea breeze and that salt water coming through the air and hitting your skin in the morning. So cleaning up is a lot easier. In a house, it's like, oh, get the bigger house, keeping up with the Joneses, the 3-car garage now, and like on and on and on. It's just, I've given up. I can't handle it. We've been living in the house for months because we've been, out of the water. I'm exhausted. I'm more exhausted so when I'm doing a boat project, I can see the steps. I can see the end. I know where I'm at. Maybe it's exhausting. Maybe it's grueling. I'm hot. I'm tired. But when I'm at a house, it's like you just can't, and you have children. You're like, why is there more stuff? Where did the stuff come from? And I know that's got to be a universal law that when you have space, the space is going to be filled. So if you have a house, you're going to just naturally accumulate more and more and more. And I have such a hard time with it because I just feel like I can't keep up. I can't keep things clean enough. I can't keep stuff down to a minimum. I feel like it's harder to throw things away. I have a harder time getting rid of clothes. But when I'm on the boat, it's like zip here and there, 5 minutes, put on some earbuds, crank up some music for a second, and like it's clean. And also, one of my favorite things to do in regards to cleaning is my boat, the interior is all wood and teak, is getting that citrus smelling wax, mixing it with a little thieves, or mixing it with like a different kind of oil, and wiping down my walls and wiping down the stairs and the floor. Wiping down my floor is my favorite because it just looks so gorgeous. And you kind of become one with your boat. When I vacuum the house, I don't feel like I'm one with the house at all. I feel like I'm more one with the house when all the cleaning's done and more stuff is moved out and everything's in place and nothing gets moved. That's when I feel comfortable in a home. But on a boat, I feel like that's just acquired so much easier. Okay, cooking. If you're one of those that has like every type of kitchen appliance and everything, this might be kind of difficult for you. But I have found everything is basically made in a miniature version these days. And I think because so many people are RVers, and because so many people are moving towards the minimalist life. But for example, in my galley, I have so much storage under my sink, and I have a deep freezer that's not working right now. I'm in the process of adding that as a project of either, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. It's got a lot of space, so I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do with it. I know I'm going to replace it and have it as a fridge freezer. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do the pull-out drawer Dometic or what, but there's even more space in there than I can fit the Dometic. And so it's awesome. I've got that, like a small flat top that I cook on all the time. I have a Keurig. I've got an ice maker on the counter. I've got a tea kettle. I've got all pots and pans that I need. Like waffle maker. I mean, you name it. Like, it fits down there. Toaster oven, Pop-Tart oven, microwave oven, actual oven. Like, there's a lot that goes into a small boat galley. And the nice part about it is the galley's basically in the middle of your space, most likely. And so you just visit with people. Your family is sitting right there. So maybe they're sitting there watching TV or reading a book. You're right there, not feeling like you're off in a kitchen on the other side of the house while your kids are, or your family's like in the other room, glued to their TVs. So I mentioned a recliner earlier. If you're that type of person that can't get rid of your recliner, I bet the second you moved on that boat, you'll find your recliner. And it's going to be that cozy spot in the corner of the couch. It's going to either be up at the wheel, maybe in the captain's chair. That's going to be your space that you call, that you spend your sunsets there. It could be in your cockpit like mine. Like, I've got an awesome enclosed cockpit, and it remains, for the most part, pretty dust free unless I leave the curtains up for days if we don't have any rain. But I'll put some of those Mexican blankets that you can buy at the gas station. I throw those up there with some pillows, and that is my spot. It heats up in the mornings. I can drink my coffee. I journal. I do my gratitude list. I keep my books up there, my incense up there. And throughout the day, I visit with my friends up there. I get my bonsai trees, and I make bonsai trees up there in the mornings. And that attracts so many random people coming over going, "What are you doing? Oh my gosh, is that a bonsai tree? Well, my mom had a bonsai tree, blah, 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 blah," So being up in that cockpit for me, it's peaceful. It's relaxing. It's my recliner. It's also the spot where I watch the sun go down at night. It's my space where I watch storms come through in the middle of the night with all the lightning and that red, spider lightning that goes through the sky. So if you're one of those that needs your big flat screen TV and your recliner, I promise that sky in the morning when you watch that sunrise and watching those dolphins and that mommy teaching the baby how to fish and that evening sunset will take place of any big screen TV that you'll ever own in your life. So let's talk about the shower. Smaller, shorter showers do become the norm on a boat versus at home. I'm not going to lie. Having a house with an unlimited amount of water supply, with a hot shower, with it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. But what I tend to use my shower at a house for is to get away, number one, to warm up because I'm freezing all the time in the air conditioning, and basically to unwind because all I do is cook and clean in the house. Like, I don't take the time to relax. I don't enjoy watching TV. I enjoy reading books, but then I'm sitting here reading a book in a room that's a disaster, and then I feel like I need to get up and clean. And so I'll make time to make myself shower. So I finally have alone time. I'm at peace. I'm quiet. I feel like I can breathe. But that's in a house. It's completely opposite than when I'm on the boat. When I'm full-time on the boat, most likely I take a dock shower. Like, I just put a shower like on the dock. And so I'll just put on one of my old one pieces and or nothing at night, and just hop up there and shower. And then I don't know, it's just peaceful. You're listening to the fish. You're listening to other people's conversations across the way. You're looking up at the stars. Maybe it's not a hot shower, but you're in and out, and it's peaceful and it's relaxing. And downstairs, we've got a 12-gallon hot water heater. And I mean, that's small. Like, it really doesn't last long. But what you do and what you learn is after you're done rinsing off, you turn off the water and lather with shampoo and get your body wash. You don't just stand there and drain all the water. You actually learn, like, wait a second, I can conserve water. And it's pretty cool. And it feels really good. It feels like you're not being wasteful, I guess. But I also don't feel like I use the shower to get away as often. I don't feel like I'm getting away from anything. I don't feel like I need that time alone to relax, to reset and hide in the shower while, everybody else just gives me a break for 10 minutes. I really feel like I can take that time throughout the day and have more self-care than needing to just kind of isolate myself in the bathroom once or twice a day. So, like I said, on the boat, I use the cockpit and the bow to have a lot of me time. I do yoga on the dock in the morning before it gets too hot. And every morning I see the same dolphins going in and out. I go for walks when I need me time. I visit with my neighbors. Even taking the laundry up to the restaurant to do a load of laundry is an amazing break. It's not a chore like I feel like it is in a home. I've accepted that humidity is a part of life on the water. I have learned over the years to absolutely fall in love with the smell of my natural body odor versus fragrances, because when I smell sweat on somebody, to me, it says summer. It says adventure. It says sailing. It says boating. It says hot. It says vacation. And so I've learned to use my Young Living essential oils that I have to regulate my body odors, I guess you would say, and sweat. I've actually weaned off of deodorant. I weaned off of deodorant about a month ago, and I haven't turned back. I might have used it once, like if you have a long sleeve shirt on that's tight, those cute, like when you throw on your jeans for a girl, and you have that tight long sleeve shirt and that you can't really avoid not sweating in because you go from air conditioning to heat, or just, when you're hot and then you're freezing and you just can't help but somehow sweat or have BO. I guess I put deodorant on, just for one night. But I've weaned myself completely off of deodorant to where it's not even, it doesn't faze me. I don't smell. I don't sweat. I don't understand it. But whatever I'm doing is working, so I'm just going to keep on going. But yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of times a dock shower is definitely good enough, even if it's just with the hose. A lot of times, also, when you move onto a boat, you will begin to realize how little time you actually spend on your boat. It's completely different than in a house, where a lot of times I've actually stopped myself and been like, I don't hear people outside. Do people just hang out inside their house all day? Are they just sitting there watching TV? If you actually think about it, what do you do in your home? I mean, yeah, you can have family over and you can celebrate and you can cook your meals and have your routines. But if you think about a giant neighborhood and you don't see anyone outside, where are they? What are they doing? Unless you live in a really outdoor community, most likely they're just, I guess, sitting there on their phones, maybe knitting. I don't know. They're probably cleaning. They're probably doing exactly what I always do inside. But if you're sitting at the dock like I am most of the time doing projects and running to town every once in a while, rainy days are the only days that I spend downstairs. I tend to get cabin fever when there's days and days and days of rain, because I really don't care to get out and drive in the rain, obviously. The only time I ever actually go anywhere is to either go to the grocery store or to go get more boat project things. So if I can't work on the boat on the outside, usually I'm just downstairs freaking out about what a to-do list I have going on that I can't actually do anything about. But most likely you're not going to have like days and days and days of rain. And so a lot of times you're not even ever on your boat. A lot of times you're out provisioning, talking to people, you're visiting with other boats, for happy hour, exploring the new area that you're in. Your boat is really just for sleeping, alone time, the necessities, taking naps, working on some things, taking time to yourself. I mean, if you don't eat out a lot, then it's for cooking, it's for meal times together. So I just remember living on the Anchor for a while and going, I can find that fulfillment that I guess maybe I had gotten from watching movies, Netflix and chilling, hanging on the couch. Like, I get that feel from other people's cockpits, from getting to know their cats, getting to know their hull design, listening to their stories. It's just so much more entertaining and fulfilling for me than, I don't know, being at home. I have a hard time. I get really lonely when I'm in a house. When I'm on the dock, my neighbor Terry comes and brings me some random vegetable from a farmer's market that he thinks I might want. If I got to go to the store, I get him a gallon of milk. And I'm like, there's just more, there's more community and there's more opportunities to visit with other people in a closer knit area than in a house, unless you're obviously anchored out somewhere on the other side of an island and you want privacy. That's a different story. But let's talk about your clothing and your shoes and your stuff. I absolutely love wearing the same basics every day. If you know me, I actually have people that compliment my style and I'm like, I don't actually know what it is. It's really short jean shorts, flip-flops, and a tank top. And that's about it. Like, I'll throw on a sweatshirt or a hoodie, maybe some yoga pants. In the summer or in the winter, all I wear is like my Uggs with yoga pants, but I wear the same thing every day. Not necessarily the same article of clothing, but my style doesn't change a whole lot. For the summertime, I wear a lot of flowy dresses because I can throw them on over my bathing suit. And one thing I've learned that really works for my style is those flowy, transparent cover-ups. Like, you can get them on Amazon. They're like $23. I use those because I wear them over my bathing suit. So if I'm going up to the bar and I'm not really in the mood to just be in a bathing suit with nothing over it, I can throw on one of those cover-ups and I feel like I'm a little dressy. But also I wear those cover-ups over my daily shorts and a tank top. And I'm like ready to go out to dinner at a restaurant, So there's things that you can kind of double up and wear where you're not feeling like you have to take your entire closet from your home and try to shove it into the tiny closet and the tiny space on your boat. When it comes to shoes, I just live in flip-flops. That's it. I have a couple pairs of heels, but I rarely wear those. And if I know that I'm going to be wearing them, I can run to the house and grab them. And while we're traveling, maybe I'll bring some, but I'll probably forget. So if I have clothes on the boat, I wear them. Nothing just hangs out for 6 months like it does in a closet at a house without being worn, or it doesn't stay on the boat. Like, it doesn't last. I mean, I've got to have that hanger space, And this also helps with loads of laundry. I don't have huge piles of laundry. Like, it's just easy to do small loads constantly versus like huge loads every couple days, and that's completely different when you're out on anchor. I have a hand crank washing machine that's great. It looks like a giant egg. I also have one that I got off Amazon that pops up. It's like that accordion rubber material and it pops up. It's awesome for underwear. It's awesome for bathing suits. It's awesome for kids' clothes. And what I'm going to invest in is the larger version of that. because I'm going to be able to fit it into the forward V-berth and it'll be able to drain into my sump box. But they'll actually put like a couple pairs of shorts and pants and shirts or a sweatshirt, in there, and then it'll actually spin it. It doesn't have the dryer setting, but drying clothes on the clothing line outside is, like your lifelines is fine. Okay, so one thing to think about, what are the things that you can't live without? You're going to have some non-negotiables when it comes to what you're willing to live with and what you're willing to live without. That's perfectly fine. If you love all of your books, take your books with you. I know a lot of people that have gotten rid of books and they use the Kindle. That doesn't really work for me. Like, I actually love a tangible book. I will carry a book around with me, not even reading it. So, like, even if don't get the time to read it, I will still carry it with me everywhere. So I'm like a book hog. But, for me, it's all of my skincare and my toiletry and my makeup products. Now is the first time that I actually bought a hairdryer, so I don't use a hairdryer often. But if you have hair products, take your hair products. Fill the entire sink underneath with all of your toiletry things, because you'll start to learn what you can and can't live without. But don't like cut yourself back thinking like, I've got to be super minimalism. I can't have my face mask. What about my, enzyme peel? No, just take it, because eventually you're going to use it and then you're going to realize you really don't need it and you'll get rid of it, but you'll keep the things that you really, really need. Like I said, books and journals, I can't live without those. So I have extra books, extra journals laying around everywhere, because what I've learned, when you have guests on board, the first thing they go to is your books. And they love talk. It's a really good conversation starter. And your books really show who you are as a person on a deeper level than just, first off meeting somebody. I can't live without my essential oils. I have Young Living essential oils and I use them for everything. Like, I had a major tummy just issue today. I had drank like a peach tea that didn't settle right, and I was super bummed because I'm like, I had that last week and it was fine, but it didn't settle right, so I use my Digize. If the kids get a paper cut, I use aloe oil. My hormone oils, Progestins Plus and Endoflex, I can't live without those, so I take those everywhere with me. Coffee cream. I will always have my coffee cream, and I have backup supply of coffee cream. And I go through phases where I make it, so I'll have different ingredients for that, but like little things in the fridge, I'm not going to give up my coffee cream. And my trinkets, my things, my jewels, my stones, my crystals, my sage, I can't get rid of those. And guess what? If I went sailing right now, they would all end up on the floor. But I have baskets, I can put them away, and then I can leave them there. I don't have to bring them back out. And that's the thing about your own boat. You don't have to bring your things back out. If you're in love with, having pictures of your grandchildren everywhere, there's ways to have your pictures on the walls instead of using picture frames. And those, they're not going to fall. For me, I have my huge wooden Buddha that was made by this man and his son in the Bahamas that I have right now. It's not museum gelled to the wood, but I'm going to take that everywhere with me. I'm not going to leave it behind just because I might not have space for it. I'm going to make space for it. So that wraps up today's episode. I really hope that this got you thinking about what life is like at your home and what life is like on the water if you're out looking for, a little bit of a lifestyle change. I promise minimalism is definitely worth it. I don't believe you have to get rid of everything to enjoy this lifestyle. And I can't wait to share an anchorage with you. And we're a dock space. That's so fun. That's one thing I'm going to be bummed about this summer is my dad's boat's next to me and I can't invite tons of people just to be right next to me. But maybe you can tie off onto his boat. Anyway, I hope you'll have a wonderful rest of your day. I would love it if you would share my episode with your friends. Go ahead and give it 5 stars and follow me at That Boat Babe on Instagram, where you get day-to-day updates on mostly boat projects right now. But I love y'all so much. Have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you next week. Okay, bye.